This is Let's Talk Business with your host, Marc Ebinger. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome to Let's Talk Business, a show that talks entrepreneurship with some of the best businesses in the San Antonio area. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk with Leah Flores, the owner of NobiliTea San Antonio. Leah, welcome to the show.
Thrilled to be here. Thanks, Mark.
You bet. A short notice guest. I really appreciate you coming on like that, but I heard you speak and I was like, oh yeah, this girl, you're like excited to promote your business. I got to have you on.
Great. Thank you so much.
Good. I'm looking forward to getting to know more about this whole launch with the franchise and everything else. It's going to be a great conversation. We're also going to talk with Stephanie Stone-Robb, who specializes in business coaching for real estate agents and is the owner of The Enterprising Agent. Stephanie, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be back, Mark.
You did really well last time, and I watch a lot of these shows. I'm not going to say all of them, but I watch a lot of them, at least pieces of it, and I really enjoyed your segment. So
thank you.
Excited to have you back on.
Appreciate it.
In studio with us today is Jenevy Sims, the owner of the Evolve firm, where she and her team provide brand development and design, web design, and social media services. Jenevy, great to see you again.
Always happy to be here with you, Mark.
And I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Crookus Marketing Agency, a company that specializes in hiring virtual assistants from outside the United States. A quick reminder for our listeners, you can catch video and podcast versions of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. And if you're a business owner in the San Antonio area and would like to have your company featured on the show, visit our website at satalkradio.com or call our office at 210-879-8804. That's 210-879-8804. Or if you run across me at a mixer, you can just say, hey, Mark, I'd like to be a guest on the show, and we'll work on it.
Worked for me.
It did, right? Sometimes it's just opportunity, and you got on such short notice, and we're booking out in the mid-January. We only have a couple spots, and then we're into February. So anyway, good job getting on the show. So we got a mixer coming up. We network a lot with the show. We've interviewed over 200 people. I've done personally over 300 interviews with the show since we started back in January 2022. And because we network with so many business owners and entrepreneurs, I was like, we need to do a mixer and really kind of celebrate all the success of the show. We're well over 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. Our social media is super active. We do about 100,000 views on social media per month.
Wow.
So, yeah, we stay pretty busy. But bringing us all together here in San Antonio, because that's all I have on the show, are people that are local to San Antonio.
Yeah.
We bring them into the studio. We get to know each other. And then I thought a mixer would be a great way to do that. So the Let's Talk Business podcast is hosting our first mixer coming up on Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Gosh, 2024 already.
Oh my gosh.
The hosts are inviting previous guests and mega fans of the show to celebrate over 300 interviews done with San Antonio entrepreneurs and business owners. There'll be snacks and drinks, places to network, and to get to know each other, other business leaders who have contributed to the podcast and helped make it a huge success. But here's the thing. There's only 100 tickets that will be sold. And I know that the hosts are like, everybody's like got a job to get 25. They're going to go so fast. So if you're hearing this, get over to our website at satalkradio.com and click on the link to get your ticket ASAP. Early bird ticket purchased on the Eventbrite are only $10 plus the Eventbrite fees, which I don't know if they're $25 now or what they are, but Eventbrite.
Thankfully, just a couple bucks. It's not like Ticketmaster.
Oh, Ticketmaster is expensive?
Very expensive.
Yikes. So they're $10 on Eventbrite, but they'll be $15 at the door. And we're just not, I almost guarantee you, there's not going to be any left when it comes to that. So please get your ticket now. If you were a guest on the show, make sure you check your email. You should have received a special invitation. But if you didn't receive it, don't wait. Go over to the website and get your tickets now. So, Jenevy, the idea of the mixer came about from the group of us, which I love. We've got professional. Everybody who's a host on the show is a professional in their field. So I'm super excited to have you on the team because I know you're really good at event planning and super good at networking. So when it comes to the value of coming to the mixer, what do you think as far as a business owner, entrepreneur, guest on a show who is, coming to the mixer? What are they going to get out of it?
Absolutely. If you've already been a guest on this show, you see the value that Mark provides with this show alone, and of course the viewership, the platform. But now we're putting you together in a room with everybody that's been on the show. So there's so much value that you can get by stepping into a space with other business professionals that are coming in together that have already shared this experience with you, and then you've heard their show, and now you get to see where they're at or what their plans are for 2024. And what happens is when business minds come together, so much creativity comes out of that. Your network is your net worth, right? So when you step into a space where everybody is like-minded, we're not in competition, we're in collaboration.
Right.
And so when we're all together, and planning things in 2024 and connecting with each other, like, hey, I've got this event coming up. I'll support you if you support me. The synergy that happens with that, man, San Antonio is going to be on fire.
Yeah, it's a lot of. You've been to a lot of mixers, Stephanie?
All the time. I mean, the real estate industry is built off of networking and mixers and events, especially around the holidays. So every week there's something to go to.
So what stands out is for you to get value out of spending your time going to a mixer. What are you looking for there?
Really, it's to make a connection that I didn't have before. If I can make even just one connection or get some information that I didn't have before, maybe on a referral partner or a vendor that could add value to my business, that's really what it's about.
Do you target when you come in? Are you on purpose about the type of industry you're looking to connect with or the person you're looking to connect with?
Not necessarily, because I feel if I had a specific target, I may block myself out from something that I wouldn't be looking for. And it's those surprise encounters that I think make networking events a really special thing.
One of the things that we learned, and Jenevy, you probably are familiar with this too, is when you go to a networking event, of course, everybody gets a name tag, right? And then there's like a little colored dot that I've seen where they put on there, and it represents specific industry types, like in-home service or real estate, lending, that kind of thing, right? So, Jenevy, what are your thoughts on us doing something like that so that now people can quickly identify the types of people that they may want to connect with?
Right. Well, normally I'm not excited about that idea in other networking circles. I've been to, chambers that have that. But with this one, because we're going to have all sorts of different business individuals, I think this will get us to where we need to be faster. And because this is going to be a very intentional networking event, we want you to get the most value with the time frame that we have. So creating this system will be able to get you visually to that point faster. But it doesn't limit you, that's for sure. I think when we first started networking, one of my mentors had told me, be intentional every time you go. But back then, it was make sure you have your notes of who's going to be there and target those people. That was the old way of doing networking. The new way is making sure that you don't miss an opportunity. Just because they're not your clientele at the moment, at least they'll remember what you do, how you made them feel, and then when the time comes for them to be looking in that market, they'll know who to contact.
Yeah, that's great advice. So, Leah, how much networking do you do out there for your business?
I have been really focusing on networking lately. That's been my biggest aha moment. So, coming from education, I guess I should throw that in there. I don't have any experience with business at all. We don't do a whole lot of networking in education. We are a network, an existing network. So one of the most enjoyable things about this whole venture has been the networking, and I wish I would have known about it sooner. It's like I feel like I'm on Mars. Like I literally feel like I took a space trip and landed on Mars. It's really exciting because Mars is a fascinating place, brand new to me, and so. Yeah, the networking has been amazing. I've been to several different events around town. I've just been thrilled to meet so many nice people. The cool thing about my situation is that I have tea. So pretty much anyone is a great networking opportunity because almost everyone loves tea. It's very rare when people say, oh, I hate tea. You don't hear that very much. So it's been awesome. I've been able to partner with so many people that I've met at some really nice networking events.
What's when you go to a mixer, like of all the ones you've been at so far, right? What's something that jumps out as like, oh, I would like to see this at more of the mixers that I go to?
There was a really nice goat cheese dip at one of them.
Food.
Snacks are important.
So, well, that's important, right?
It is.
Number
So
one.
food apparently is a thing.
Food is awesome. I love it. But yes, let's see. The atmosphere. I mean, I did a speed networking event, which was fun. And at my shop, I offer tea party networking events. So that's a lot of fun because it's just something new and different. Just a kind of a spin on an old thing. Again, I'm on Mars, so networking is brand new to me, and it's all exciting. But for those of us who've been doing networking a lot and for many years, and it might be kind of getting old or, the same old, same old. So anything you can do to kind of spice it up, make it interesting, memorable. It's nice to be able to put yourself, in your memory next to that exciting person that you met, and remember what you guys talked about and what ideas you had, because that's the thing, is just start flying with ideas.
Yeah, to Geneviev's point, it's how you feel, right? That's super important about that connection. How many people can you fit in your business?
I have 30 actual seats to put hind ends in.
Okay.
But we have 26 table chairs, so we can do, moving around. We can do like a speed thing almost, or musical chairs, I like to call it, so that people can get up in between teas and
I love that idea.
not only taste the teas and enjoy I don't know, if you guys can just imagine yourself with a little teacup in front of you right now, it just makes you want to visit. It makes you want to relax and talk and just be yourself. And that's the great thing about the little atmosphere that we have, is that I actually have little antique cups that everybody gets to use for their tea tasting. So it's super sweet, and you have to put your pinky up. Especially
very
the
fancy.
guys have to get that pinky out there.
That's a thing.
And it's really fun. And again, there's lots of ways to structure it where people can make sure that they're interacting with as many people as they want or need to.
So you could come up with an event called the Raised Pinky.
Oh,
Networking event.
Let's
like
teach men how to
it.
do this.
Yes.
I get a
see
quarter
a
every time
market
somebody
for
says
this.
it, though.
Yeah.
Raise that pinky.
Raise that pinky, Mark.
I love it. See, we already came up with ideas.
See?
Oh yeah,
Just like
oh yeah,
that.
and I know that there's a couple people I want to connect you with as well. So,
Excellent.
and then definitely make a good connection with Jenevy there. Go into the BPSA mixer, and maybe, I don't know if it's big enough, but if you could host something for one of their deals down the road, that'd be
I
cool
would
too.
love it.
But that's how it's done. That's how business in San
Yeah.
Antonio is done. It's all so cool. All right, well, that was the first segment. That went by pretty quick, right?
It sure did.
All right, so first up on the show is Leah Flores, the owner of NobiliTea of San Antonio. Leah, so tell me about, I'm going to ask your background, but I really want to know, why did you choose NobiliTea as a franchise?
Okay, so my situation is very different because I put zero thought and research into this. Okay, I was living in Kerrville. I was finishing out my teaching career, and in Kerrville, there's a well-established and much-loved NobiliTea store. Shout out to the owners there because they've guided me all along the way. And so in Kerrville, everybody goes to NobiliTea, and some people go 2 or 3 times a day. Literally. And it is so delicious. So, of course, I fell in love with NobiliTea, and I just started going routinely almost every day. And I've always been a tea lover, but this was like next level tea. No one in the United States has ever heard of this tea for the most part. If you think about the late 80s, when nobody had ever heard of a cappuccino, nobody had ever heard of a latte. I mean, literally, we did not know about that. It was a cup of joe. That's all you got. So when those things were introduced, we all know what happened, the explosion of the coffee craze.
Yep.
So it's absolutely the same thing with tea. Tea is an amazing, ancient product that is just fraught with history and love and passion, ceremony, you name it. And I was thinking this weekend about the podcast, and I thought, coffee is to beer as tea is to wine. So you have the same kinds of, agriculture, temperature, areas of the world where the tea is grown and cultivated and then harvested and processed. And that is what makes the tea what the tea is. So you have your oolongs, you have your whites, your blacks, your herbals. And so it's just fascinating to me. So I fell in love with NobiliTea back in Kerrville, to go back where I was. And then I realized I could retire. I was like, oh, I thought I was going to do this for 5 more years or so, but maybe not. So I realized I could retire, and I said, I could do something really different. And if it's this popular and loved in Kerrville, then of course in San Antonio it's just going to go bonkers, right? So that's the part I did not research at all. So I have no knowledge of marketing, no knowledge of brand awareness, which I've become very familiar with.
Well, you know the show Cheers, right?
Right.
Okay. So it's a place where you go that everybody knows your name.
Right.
That's what you have in Kerrville,
Yes.
is you have a Cheers. So you create that here in San Antonio,
Right.
right? Which is targeting, what your market is, your people, and then just you create an atmosphere that they just love to come and hang out and everybody knows your name.
That's right.
So branding is something that Jenevy
My specialty.
Your specialty.
What luck.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, I love that you found something that you were passionate about and figured out how to go ahead and scale it. So what made you move from Kerrville to San Antonio with NobiliTea?
Well, Kerrville, if you're not familiar with it, is a town of about 30,000 people on a good day, and so there's only room for one NobiliTea in Kerrville. And then my real roots, although I grew up in Kerrville and finished off my career there, I was in Northside ISD for 20 years, and I love San Antonio. My kids are here, my grandkids are here, so I really did want to get back to San Antonio anyway. I was ready, and I thought, hey. There's another tea store that was in business years ago that people absolutely loved, and it was it went out. So I thought people are ready for some more loose leaf tea. And what NobiliTea has done is they have taken that loose leaf tea niche, but they've added the huge, amazing layer of craft drinks, and they are phenomenal. So not only do you have that niche audience that loves loose leaf tea, but we literally have a drink for every person in the world. I mean, there's pure, organic, unsweetened, perfect, just water and leaves, beautiful teas. And then there's the heavy cream, whipped cream,
Love
7 pumps of cherry syrup.
Just like
pumpkin
Starbucks.
spice. Yeah.
It's some of the same stuff that other franchise types have done, and they've caught on to what people want, and they want that customizability. Right, which is, hey, I want it, but I want 2 pumps of this, and I want a little bit of that, and oat milk instead of regular milk or almond milk or whatever the thing is.
Yep, we have all of that, and it's my favorite thing to do is literally sit down with somebody and say, what's your favorite flavors? What do you like? How sweet do you want it? I mean, and I'm luckily right now I have the time to do that, so we've come up with some great drinks just with individuals. A matcha mojito, I was pretty proud of that. So if you're interested in that, come on by and I'll turn you on.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
Yep.
Okay, so background. So yeah, I think we got a lot of that already. You teacher background, and then you retired, got into some business. So what's the plan? How are you scaling your NobiliTea here? When did you launch? Let's start that.
Okay, so we opened the doors mid-April.
Okay.
In April, we had 248 Facebook followers.
How many are you at now?
I think it's around 2,000 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's more than no, I'm sorry. I got 5,000.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag.
Someday I'll be like you, hopefully. Maybe after this podcast.
Yes, exactly. You're on your way.
Right. The Facebook followers was a little bit less than what we really needed. So I started to realize pretty quickly that even though I'm in San Antonio, I might as well be in a cornfield because nobody knew where I was and nobody knew what I was. Mm-hmm. We are not just another bubble tea store. There's so many bubble tea stores opening up, and that is absolutely not what we have, although we do have delicious popping boba. So we can be a bubble tea store if you want us to be. But we absolutely have high-quality organic loose leaf, and that is the my thrust of what I love about it. But the drinks are phenomenal. So in April when we opened, the theme at that time was Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, I love it.
Too much fun.
Okay.
So we had the Alice drink, we had the Queen of Hearts, we had the Tweedledee, we had the Mad Hatter. They were fabulous drinks. Every drink has a unique topper on it. So literally everyone who ordered an Alice got a metal key, not a plastic key, a metal antique-looking key with a little tag that said "Drink Me" on it.
Oh.
So everybody,
Yes.
they come, they get the drinks. They're just absolutely charmed by them, and of course you get to collect them. So right now, one of our toppers is a Dum Dum lollipop with a tiny little knit hat and ball on top. It's too cute.
I love
So
that. That is amazing.
how do you scale now? So you're networking obviously a lot.
Yeah, the networking has been huge. We had, our best Sunday, ironically, was just yesterday. We had a really good Sunday. I partnered up with Gina Ramirez, who I met through LinkedIn, and she's a wellness coach, and she brought her clients in and introduced them to tea and just let me have the day. They were all thrilled. They were really excited. We went over rooibos tea, which is a tea that helps with allergies. And so we exclusively did a tea tasting for rooibos yesterday. And I put that out on Instagram in the afternoon, and we had about 10 people who came in and enjoyed the rooibos tasting, and some of them took the rooibos challenge. So the 30-day challenge, they're going to drink rooibos tea every night because it is naturally uncaffeinated. So you drink it at night, and all that goodness just seeps into your body. And hopefully, we're going to find out what my little testers think, my little guinea pigs. They're going to let us know if their allergies have improved.
Very cool.
Wow, that is amazing.
It's a lot,
We're
man.
gonna
Let me tell
track
you, it's
this.
a lot.
I think you really have established yourself as far as branding. We had talked about that a little bit earlier, but other than just taking what the franchise has offered, it looks like you've expanded and also made it your own, which is so valuable.
Well, and again, I think it's a San Antonio thing because I've had just the businesses so excited to partner with me, so open to ideas, and we've had real estate companies come in and do trainings. They had an attorney come in from Austin and update everybody on the new laws, and they did it all while drinking tea and relaxing and in a great atmosphere. The shop is actually super light and open, so it's a little bit different than some of the coffee house vibes. It's very relaxing, but also, again, light and positive, so that's neat. If you go on our Instagram, you can kind of see what the store actually looks like and get an idea of how we put different events together. We've had baby showers, we've had bridal showers, no charge for the space. Just come in and enjoy and introduce all your friends and family and coworkers to the tea. So, yeah, the openness of the San Antonio community has been a godsend for sure.
Yeah.
Now, have you hit the local police substations yet?
Yeah.
Not
was the next
yet.
one I was gonna
Not
say.
yet. Of course, we do military and uniform discounts. If your police officers want to come in uniform, they're going to be treated to an absolutely free beverage. So come in on duty for a quick break, and we will hook you up with some yumminess. And we have gone out. I actually went out to a couple of the you know how we have so much construction because we're right there on 1604. Right between Blanco and Stone Oak Parkway. So pretty much the epicenter of all road construction in the universe. So I went around and gave out some tea to the construction guys over the summer, and they really liked it because it was looking pretty hot out there.
So I'm a retired cop here in San Antonio, right?
Right.
So what I recommend that you do is figure out what substation that your business is in, and then go to that substation. Thanksgiving's coming up, and I can just from memory, it's like I put on a couple pounds every Thanksgiving because people would bring stuff to the substation, right? What you do is you go and say, hey, we're dropping off for you guys to have drinks for the day. And just to let you know, if you're in uniform, come by, you get a free tea. You know what I mean? Just let them know that,
Right.
extend that invitation. Now you get police officers that'll come up there and frequent your store. So
Yeah,
just a
that'd be
little
great.
insight from my side. So that was your segment. It went by that fast. So was this your first podcast?
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
I feel great. I didn't get to mention like 99% of the things I was going to say.
Well, see, that's what I do. I set you up to come back. later.
Yeah,
Like,
I need to come
that's
back.
Me.
Yeah.
exactly what happened to her.
Yeah,
So,
I wanted to shout out some of the people who've been super supportive, if
Well,
I
do it.
could, really quickly. Krista's Culinary Creations has been with me from the beginning. Uwe out of Old World Bakery in New Braunfels is amazing. Big Tech Social Media. And most recently, David Nolan of Bun Teas. We're going to be partnering up, and he's going to be providing some of his awesome, and I mean awesome, cookies.
I'm a big cookie fan, and I like tea. So loose leaf tea is a big thing for me. I used to. There was a Tivana or something like that. That was
like the one at North Star Mall.
yeah. So I would actually buy some tea there, and make
Same.
the tea and whatnot. But to be able to go someplace and get a good quality tea like that, and then kind of temper my sweetness because I'm trying to get away from too much sugar,
Right.
would be a really cool thing. So
That is my whole mission, is just to get everybody off the sugar and make sure that people know that you don't have to have 15 chemicals in your drink to make it yummy. We have zero chemicals, and they are so good. And people will notice it right away when they take a sip. They're just like, oh my gosh, our chai is sweetened with honey, so it only has 4 grams of sugar. So there's just like a lot of health benefits.
I love chai. Are you kidding me?
Oh, the chai's amazing.
I think you've got the makings of a super fan right
Yeah,
here.
I'm already. What are your hours so I can go? Like
8 to 8 Monday through Sunday, or Monday through Saturday, and 12 to 5 on Sunday. And the matcha the matcha mojito. I'll just throw that out there one more time.
That sounds amazing. I love the creativity that you have.
Yes.
It's a really, really fun.
Well, and you're passionate about it too. That I picked up on that when we were at that event, and you were just like on purpose, and you're passionate. So you're going to be mega successful without a doubt.
Oh,
So,
thank you so
and if we
much.
can
I
support,
appreciate you.
Happy to do it here as well. All right, cool. So next up on the show is Stephanie Stone-Robb, who specializes in business coaching for real estate agents and is the owner of The Enterprising Agent. Stephanie, I know we cut you off short last time, so we wanted to have you back, kind of
Thank you
pick
for
up
having
where
me
we
back.
left off. So your Enterprising Agent program is going to be rolled out to states outside of Texas. Was something you brought up. I know it's something that's coming, but let's start there, and we
Okay.
can kind of take it in whatever direction you need to finish up, because I know we can talk about the guru culture
Yes,
as
absolutely. So I've been a real estate coach, really just focused on Texas. Primarily for contracts and compliance, but realizing that what agents need, especially in the market that we're in right now, is the confidence when it comes to marketing, getting yourself out there, having good conversations, and that's something that goes beyond just what your contract laws are. So that's where we're looking to roll this out outside of our current roster of Texas students, because that is something so universal in this industry, is that fear of how do I set myself apart from other agents, especially when agents are brand new. If I can make an agent confident, that's 90% of the challenge of making somebody successful in their business.
Yeah, it does open up the floodgates a little bit. Like, I mean, Leah was confident when she was approaching me about what she's doing and coming on the podcast, and that makes it easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Makes it fun
That's
more
the
than
starting
anything.
point.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what's the goal there, though? I know you want to go outside Texas, you want to
Yeah.
have more agents, but do you have a target you're actually shooting at as far as how many new people you want to have, or maybe it's not the number of people, it's the quality, or it's the type, or what?
It really is breaking the failure rate of real estate agents in this industry. There's a statistic that within the first 2 years of somebody getting their license, they have an 87% chance of tapping out. That only
Wow.
really 13% of agents make it past year 2 after getting their license. And that's a staggering statistic, that you can open up a business and only have a 13% chance of making it. I come from the food and beverage industry, and even that was a higher success rate. So whatever I can do to take that 13% and amplify that number, that's really my goal. So I don't have necessarily I want to coach this many students, or I want to bring in this many agents into the program. It's finding those agents that are willing to go outside of their comfort zone, to find those agents who want to be part of the 13%, not the 87%, and giving them the roadmap to get them to where they want to be in their business.
Well, isn't it part of that, though, is a mindset going in is there's a low barrier to entry
Yes.
when it comes to the real estate.
Absolutely.
And I don't know that gets changed. It probably wouldn't get changed, but how do you change that mindset about, you know what I mean? Because they're going to, I'm going to go try this, right? Because I know I can make, on a $300,000 house, I can make $9,000. They're looking at 3%. It's like, oh my gosh, $9,000 I can make. That's a lot of money to do that. If I do that 15 times a year, I'm making however much, you know what I mean? So, but that's like pie in the sky.
Yes.
So how do you now make that real? It's education, it's awareness, but is it realistic that people are still going to maybe vet that a little bit better before
Yeah.
they pull the trigger?
I think it's a couple things, and it really depends on where in that life cycle that agent comes to me. They either come to me pie in the sky, this is going to be easy. We talked about it before about how television makes it look super easy and super profitable. But if I can get them from that foundation and go, look, this is what it actually is. This is what you signed up for. And I think it does two things. Number one, it gives them a quick reality check. And number two, it reminds them that, look, if you don't get a contract in your first 2 weeks or your first 30 days or heck, even your first 90 days, it isn't necessarily you. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily doing something wrong. You have to trust the process. I use the analogy of, gardening. We can't plant a tomato seed today and be mad that we don't have a tomato tomorrow. We have to continue water and sunlight and wait for that sprout to come up and continue to give it love. And that's what building a business is. So when I can remind them that this is what you signed up for, you didn't sign up for, I have my license, people are just going to flock to me, then I think it shifts something in the mind to go, okay, this is a process and I have to trust the process and listen to the people that came before and built that success and know that at the end of the day, they're going to catch me when I fall.
Right. And a lot of people that I know that have transitioned into the real estate space, I think a lot of them think that, the people are just going to come to them looking for that house. So when you take in a real estate agent, what does that process look like when you get started with them?
Yeah, good question. So the first thing that I need to know is, okay, what are we looking to accomplish? Is this we're transitioning out of another career? Is this, I want to make extra money so I can take the kids to Disney World every year? What will success look like to them? Is there an aspect of real estate that they want to focus on? And then I ask them a little bit about their background when it comes to, I don't even want to use the term marketing, but kind of where is that comfort zone that we can then amplify? So if somebody tells me, I'm on social media all day long and I scroll through TikTok and I want to use it for my business, great. Then I'm going to work with them on a social media strategy because that inroad is a little bit easier because there's a little bit of familiarity. I had an agent who came to work with me and she told me that I used to work in call centers. I worked in call centers for 20 years. I'm used to people yelling at me on the phone. And in fact, I'm more comfortable with that than in person. I'm more comfortable with that than social media. So put me on the phones. I'm used to it. So great. We're going to work on cold call strategy with that agent. So I just need to know a little bit of where are we starting from and where do we want to go and what are those things that they have in their arsenal that are going to help get them there. What's that springboard? And then we put together a 30-day plan specifically for their goals and for that springboard. And then it's a matter of them meeting me halfway. I will give you the roadmap. You just got to get behind the wheel and drive.
Right.
That's right. It's not going to be a passive strategy. It's going to be an active strategy.
Absolutely.
But within your comfort zone. I think that's really, really smart because like my wife, she does not like being in front of people, but she's a wizard behind the scenes, right? So it's like you really have to kind of gravitate towards what their comfort level is so that they can go and achieve. So guru culture, what is it?
Yeah. So when I was deciding to become a real estate coach, it really came from me talking to other coaches, and there are some amazing business coaches out there. There's some amazing real estate coaches out there, but there is a kind of a history in this industry, unfortunately, of how can I take as much money from these folks who are those 87 percenters? And I felt it was a little predatory, where it seemed like the goal of a coach is how can I string you along so I can continue to take money from you? For me, with my coaching program, my goal is to have you with me. And then, maybe we stair step into something a little bit more high level, but at some point you should be able to leave the nest and spread your wings and fly. I don't feel like it would be right for me to be taking coaching money from somebody for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. If that's the case, I'm probably doing something wrong. And I feel there's a lot of business coaches, real estate coaches out there whose goal is to get you just far enough to where you're too afraid to leave the nest so that way you can return. Or the answer to all your problems is within this person that you are getting this coaching or this advice from. And for the low, low price of blank, I will fix all your ills. But those ills never get fixed because they're never truly addressed of, okay, what is the crux of the problem that we have to move you through?
When I think of guru culture, I think of like, Tony Robbins or something like that, right? Where now you have this ultra personality.
Yes, it's that cult of personality more than anything that I am a reflection of this one person versus, okay, now let's take a moment and who do you want to be? Can you be your own guru at the end of the day? And that's where people find success of, you know what, ultimately, I have the power to succeed or fail. I have the power to make a choice that's going to move me forward or backwards. And no one with however many YouTube followers or how many books they've written can have you make that very personal choice of, are you moving towards success or are you moving towards failure?
And I think a lot of people, too, when they get into the real estate space, they tend to compare themselves to someone who's on chapter 20 of their journey and they're on chapter 1. So what advice would you say to those agents that are just coming into this space and they're ready to go, but this is why they need your services, this is why they need that guidance, because sometimes, social media is the biggest part of it. They look and they're like, oh man, that agent just signed on and they got already, 3 or 4 houses lined up under contract. What am I doing wrong? And this is, I think, a good opportunity for you to be able to use your sources and your education background too, to be able to help them with that journey. But I think there's also a lot of that FOMO, fear of missed opportunities, where a lot of real estate agents are stepping into that space and they're wondering, why am I not where those other agents are at this time?
Yeah, real estate school teaches you nothing about how to run a business. Real estate school teaches you how to not get sued. That's literally all it is. It's here's your contract. Here are the 15 ways that you could lose your license. Good luck. Go sell a house. So, especially newer agents or agents who maybe didn't have guidance or someone to be a little bit of that safety net for them. What they have is this focus on contracts and compliance and how do I not get sued, but they don't know what they don't know. And that's a big challenge of, I thought I could get out there and I post once on Facebook, hi, I have my real estate license, come and buy houses. And then they don't know what they're doing wrong because they see other people, like you said, who are in chapter 20 of their journey, not having to have that foot on the gas so hard. So I think number one, social media, in addition to TV, lies to us, and being able to present to agents, look, number one, it costs you nothing to, stand outside the Gucci store and take a photo of yourself and make you look like you're making a lot of money, or go to the Porsche dealership and take a selfie in front of a Porsche. We don't really know at the end of the day if the perception of success is that reality of success. So you've got to ignore that. If your version of success includes buying that Gucci bag, awesome. We've got to figure out what it's going to take for you to spend $3,000 on a bag, right? The other thing is reminding them that this is a business and this is work. This is a job. And if you don't treat it like a job, you won't get paid like a job. And so we have to look under the surface and go, here are the things, if we're going back to that gardening analogy, we have to look at those roots that are spreading out, that are creating that hardy plant at the end of the day that's going to continue to fruit year after year, not just the beautiful blossoms on top. So for me, it's about let's look below the surface. And if we can spread out those roots and plant that foundation, you're going to bloom for years and years to come. I tell my agents, the first deal you get is going to be the hardest deal you will ever get in your real estate career. The first $100,000 you make is going to be the hardest money you will ever make in your real estate business. And it's not fun. It's not sexy to go, this is going to be hard. This is going to be work. Your commitment is going to determine what this looks like. And I think me not being afraid to give a little bit of tough love is not only what sets my agents up for success, but I think in a weird way, it's what keeps them coming back, because they know I'm going to tell them what they need to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear. And I think, when we talk about guru culture, it's a lot of, you just got to manifest it. You just got to believe it. But there's no talk about sometimes it's going to be tough. And it's okay that it's tough, and it's okay that not every day is a good day. But just know that as long as you're making progress, you're doing what you need to do.
Well, and part of that, too, is by having a service like that, you're not going through it alone.
Right.
There's somebody who's not who's interested in your success and has been through that journey. Yeah. Mentorship's super important.
Yeah.
When it comes to doing any kind of business. All right. If folks want to get in touch with you, Stephanie, how they do that?
Easiest way is our website, theenterprisingagent.com. It has links to all of our socials, links to YouTube, links to our podcast. Also, you can go on theenterprisingagent.com and you can book a free 15-minute coaching session with me. And that way we can figure out if our coaching program is something that would be value to your business, and a little vice versa as well.
All right. Love it. Well, thanks for coming in. Again, I appreciate that. All right, as we wrap up the show, a quick reminder to check out our latest podcast or catch video versions of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. It's going to be it for us. Great job, everybody.
Great
Thank
job.
you.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Bet. All right, we'll see you on the next one.